at the heavyweight division. Cole Konrad, the #1 seed, and Steve Mocco, the two-time champion. Champion in 2005. He beat Konrad, also a champion when he was with Iowa, Mocco, in 2003. So it's Mocco in the orange singlet, Konrad in the gold. Here we go. Let's get after it.
Well, that's what Mocco said when somebody asked him what he's thinking about. He says, it's time to go. The talk is over. But Konrad has been the only one able to beat Mocco after being close for the past couple of years. And, you know, I'll tell you what, I think he's the only one, you know, big enough to stay in the middle with Mocco. My opinion, big and strong enough to stay in the middle of the mat and fighting. And he's shown it.
Konrad has beaten Mocco a few times this year. What has been his secret?
Well, I think this year he turned it around. He's not going to be doing too many flashy things. He's going to stick to basics, know his limitations. In other words, he's not going to put himself in positions trying to be good. He's just going to stick with what he knows he does well. It included a pin, which ended Mocco's 85-match winning streak, and then a 3-1 win overtime. Excuse me, a win in the last dual meet that they had, which was a 3-1 overtime win, sudden victory.
The all-star duels, the national duels is unofficial, and then the match that you and I saw, Tim, here, right here at the Ford Center in Oklahoma City, the dual match between Minnesota and Oklahoma State, and that everything was on the line. The title in that dual match and the heavyweight title as well, and Konrad got him again. Did it in overtime. Sudden victory.
Konrad is definitely bigger and stronger than he was last year, and that also might be the edge where Mocco just can't manhandle him the way he used to.
Well, let's put it this way. Konrad has felt that foot sweep so many times, and he knows that's the only way Mocco can take him down in his mind. Mocco's felt the bear hug now from Konrad, so likely that it's just going to be fun watching the so-called wrestling here, but I doubt if either one of them takes any risk.
Well, the issue has gone beyond regulation times more than not. So look for this thing probably to be tied at the end of regulation.
Tim, you talked about risk, and it's probably been Mocco's biggest liability so far in their matches. He's taken some risk, and it hasn't paid off for him this year.
In the last match, you're exactly right, Dave. It seemed like he didn't have to shoot in. It was a half-hearted shot, and it's really how Konrad won. And instead of going the length and seeing who could ride each other out, and like I said, you know, for as little real wrestling that will actually happen, what's going to be fun here is to watch this eventful match on the anticipation of who will win and how it will be done.
We saw last night Konrad struggle to get by Velasquez guys in a quadruple overtime, and Konrad was gassed. Does that have any carryover, Jeff, to tonight?
I just think Cain Velasquez of Arizona State really just gave Konrad the match of his life. He's a lot shorter, really powerful, and Konrad just couldn't find a handle on him, and he may have been looking past him just a little bit. Mocco beat Wagner of Michigan in the semifinals, and it was big because Wagner really tested Mocco. We thought he might be able to beat him, and Wagner came back and took third at the NCAA.
Let's get a report from Quint Kesnick.
Steve Mocco, no stranger to unconventional training techniques. Added another wrinkle this winter with some new workout partners. Oklahoma State football players, big ones, several linemen, 6'5", 300-pounders to be exact. Big, strong, powerful guys to practice moving around big weight, to simulate what it feels like to go against Konrad.
It's an interesting point. That's one of the problems for heavyweights, isn't it, guys? Someone to have a training partner, because, you know, it's rare for them to have someone just sitting around that is this size with this talent.
Well, that's the key. You know, even if you get a big football player, that's good for developing strength and power, but you got to remember, wrestling is moving. It's changing directions, and it's feeling pressure and balance.
You got any blood on him? Check him for blood.
Don't you think, Jeff, it's going to be interesting to see how Mocco responds being the underdog this year. You know, a two-time NCAA champion, but he's the underdog.
Oh.
He is the underdog to Konrad here, and many people were wondering if Mocco broke when he took that single shot going down to his knees, which is a rarity for Mocco.
Mocco hanging on for dear life, building up some riding time, 24 seconds so far in this period.
I'm sure Coach Smith had a good long talk with Steve Mocco and sort of the other coaches at Oklahoma State about preparation for not only this tournament, but for this particular match.
Calling on Steve Mocco. Warning. Konrad doing a good job of getting up and hand control.
Right away. Oh, get on, Red.
Tom Galen is our referee.
There. Escape for Konrad.
Oh. Nice snap down by Konrad, but unable to take advantage of it. But he definitely broke Mocco's balance.
Take it out of it. 1 minute. Get him off the edge, Cole. Get him off the edge. Work center, guys.
Both these guys work really hard. They're in great shape. That's why they can go 2 and 3 overtime periods, you know. Both real monsters from the standpoint of their work ethic.
Jeff, you've had to push big guys around before. Well, how much energy does that take to do that?
Well, if you're the initiator and not the reactor, not as much. But when you're constantly reacting to your opponent's input, it becomes much more fatiguing. So he who initiates really is in the driver's seat.
30 seconds.
True to form so far. They're fighting like crazy for position, but they're not really going to take much risk.
Well, neither one's going to take a shot right now, I can promise you that. Unless somebody really off balances the other and that leg just presents itself.
This again a rematch of last year's NCAA finals. As the second period comes to a close, let's flash back to last year.
Red. Yeah. Set.
There it was, the leg sweep. And Mocco crowned the champion. Second time he was crowned a winner. Now Mocco starts on the mat trying to escape to tie this up at 1.
Did I see Konrad throw legs, Tim?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Hold. Go.
There's the escape. We're tied at 1. Riding time not a factor.
That was a little interesting wrinkle they put into Konrad's offense. Try to put legs in to hold Mocco down. Mocco not to be denied. And it's a stand-up battle once again.
Konrad, a 2-time All-American. Mocco, a 2-time NCAA champion.
Keep working. Keep working.
Whoa. That was one of the anklets that went flying out of your picture.
Konrad with a little foot sweep attempt.
Yeah.
This is straight up here, guys. It's 1-1. There's no riding time, and we've got 1 minute left.
You almost wondered, did Konrad send a message with that attempted foot sweep? Well, here you go right back. Trying to get into the head of Mocco. When you're that close, you look for any little advantage.
Second Wisconsin athlete in the finals, Askren from Wisconsin. So is Cole Konrad.